I've always been a fan of games like Legend of Zelda and the Firewatch. Now, what does these both games have in common? Well, they are both sort of like this stylized looking game. What I mean by stylized is this distinct type of art personality, which you can tell just by looking at it. I don't really know what it is, so I can't really explain, but it just looks really cool. It's basically like this cartoony style look combined with some artistic, good looking environment and stuff, colorful, vibrant stuff. That's what we call stylized, basically. So that gave me an idea. I've been wanting to make a open world short adventure type of game for quite a while now, and I really liked this stylized art style, so I thought, why not try my best to just make something that has a little bit depth to it and actually release it to the public. So yeah, with my channel growing a little bit more than it did before and my Patreon subscribers rolling in, I thought, well, I guess let me give it a shot. I'm really not good at coding, neither I'm good at this whole environment stuff or even anything at all. But I thought with just this small little experience, I guess I can use this small little opportunity to get some real experience on actually making a game and finishing it from start to the end. To get started, I used an asset called the Cozy Weather, and the asset was pretty cool, and it had these stylized clouds and other things, and also came with this environment pre-built into it. So I thought, for now, I think I'll just keep it there and just not change it. And this is a great way to just get started with a little bit of prototyping. Though the problems didn't end there. My PC, or should I say my laptop, is truly horrible at handling anything more than 2D stuff. I mean, it basically renders the entire scene in just 2 FPS per second, which was one of the reasons why I couldn't use the Unity recorder as well, because it'll take literal 1 hour to record like 2 minutes of clip in game. And even if I do wait for 2 hours, the recording is basically going to be a blurry mess because, well, it has an integrated graphics, nothing more than that. And yes, it is an Intel 520 integrated graphics, so don't expect too much. But this is the start of the devlog, so let's not talk about all that. This is going to be the very beginning, so let's just talk about how I want this game to be and how I'm going to make it like this. I wanted the game to have a sort of like a distinct personality to it, because there are a lot of stylized games, and if you just make the game look like a sort of like a cartoon stylized game like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, that'd be kind of generic. So I kind of wanted to combine two different aspects together. I wanted to add a sort of outline effect to the entire scene like you saw in the Ultimate Spider-Man games. I really like that outline thingy, and it kind of complemented really well with the cartoon stylized look. So I thought, well, why not implement it? And boom, well, we have that. But I had a lot of issues to get it to work with like sort of depth perception, because the outline effect is based on a depth buffer, and I'm using the built-in render pipeline, so it was a little bit difficult. But this helpful article did help me out a lot. Now, in terms of gameplay, the game is going to be a short adventure type of game where you basically have your character. You're going to walk around the scene, the environment. You're going to discover new locations and places to be, and talk to the people living there, the NPC characters, and take quests, take pictures, and just sort of like overall enjoy the like cozy and beautiful looking environment and just relax. Also, another thing about the outline effect is that there's a script that sits on the camera, and it collects the depth buffer from the camera's scene view, or the view that the camera is seeing, and then it sends it through a script on the shader that's written, and then the shader then sort of renders the outline all around the screen depending on the object's depth. I added some more details and played around with the prototype scene. I really didn't think that I was gonna use this as the main base, but it's a pretty good scene to just get started and just have a basic prototype of how the game is gonna be playing out. The asset also comes with some pretty cool looking trees and some good looking materials to just to sort of like fit the aesthetic of the scene itself. And also the asset comes with some pretty amazing clouds. They're not volumetric clouds or anything, they're just basic textures, printed on top of spheres, but they're still pretty amazing. The game barely has any kind of actual gameplay implemented into it at this point, but I'll be working on it, and I guess I'll just implement some more things to make the game look a little bit more pleasing. But I think mostly the visual parts are done. Now all there is left is to just model out some low poly hills, mountains, and to get the terrain extended a little bit so that we can work with it. And overall, I think it looks kind of nice. There are a little bit more effects left. I thought of adding volumetric lights to it, but turns out you can't actually do that with this this overall weather thingy asset, because it kind of like freaks out. But other than that, I think it looks pretty nice, and I'm gonna be slowly adding the gameplay mechanics at this point. The game doesn't have anything other than the open world and the player controller being able to move freely around the environment. So yeah, that was the first devlog for my game, and I hope that I will be working on it, and I will not abandon this project. And I will also be uploading a few more devlogs explaining the terrain shader and the translucency of the tree shader and the water shader and so on. And I'll also be explaining some of the gameplay mechanics, and I'll also be making videos on that as I add them. And I'll also make a short video about how to make your game look good depending on some of the principles that I've learned from this project. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool, and this project really has been something really amazing for me. And honestly, I think this is my first time actually making something that is actually gonna be out for people to play. I have made a few games before, but none of them did really that good, so yeah. But I think this one would, if I am able to use this concept correctly, because I think the game looks pretty cool in my opinion. It has this really cool art style to it, and even though it's basically like an asset flip, but I do think it looks good, so I will be working on it. Thank you so much to all of my viewers and subscribers, and this video was made possible by everyone's support and all of my Patreon subscribers, so a huge props to them. So yeah, basically this is it. Thanks for watching.